Hello, friends. Welcome. I am Ananda Rose, and thank you for joining me. And for all of you on Light Language Messenger, welcome to, and thank you as well for joining me. Well, friends, today I'm going to be talking about something. Well, I hope I can make it a little bit lighthearted. And I just want to share some of the downloads I've been getting from my guides. And I want to talk about that in particular. Before I do that, I want to say, I have been trying to find something called calamine lotion at the local pharmacies, supermarkets, etc. And I discovered that calamine lotion is no longer in stock in the place that I live in. Now, why? Because I've got a dark spot on my face. I've got a smaller one there, but I've got quite a big one here, if you didn't notice it. I and that is a sunspot. I've obviously been walking the dog and had bit of a sunburn spot there. And so, the thing I know that fixes it, apart from aloe vera, real aloe vera, I've got that in the garden and I've used it. Apart from olive oil or turmeric, fresh turmeric can do that too. But the thing that I know that fixes it very quickly is calamine lotion. Now, if you know what calamine lotion is, you understand my urgency with it because calamine lotion not only heals the spot that is sore, it also removes the scar that is there. And it does it in a flash. You just put some on at night, go to sleep, get up in the morning, and you can visibly see that it is, you know, it's lightening and it's healing. Okay. However, I've discovered that they no longer make calamine lotion, but they make other things with calamine lotion in it now. There's one called calamine aqueous cream, and the other one is called calamine and calendula lotion. So I have to figure out which one I'm going to use to remove the scar. That was one of my dilemmas this week, friends. I mean, living in the first world, right? That's the story. I hope that gave you something to think about. I know my friend Lynn in Australia was quite surprised that we no longer have calamine lotion here in Auckland. Okay, because Lynn works at a pharmacy or a chemist, and Lynn Ruitt, yeah, she does that, and so she will know whether that's in stock there or not, and she did not hear about that, so I leave it with you. A lot of things are changing in terms of the food we eat, the calamine lotion, the moisturizers, the cleaning products, and all of that, and we are in such a transformative time. It is such a transformative time. For many of us, we've been through the ringer, and for many, being in the ringer continues. Some of us have come out of the dark night of the soul or the ringer, but the journey to what is slower. I've said it so many times, and I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record, but in this week, I've had people telling me about stuff going on with them. There's stuff going on with me, for example, that is similar to what's going on with them. Now, one of the things, friends, I'm going to pause this recording because I can hear one of the blinds and it's going to be quite distracting. So I'm just going to pause it and come back. Okay, so there you go. I've done it. So coming back to this stuff that continues to go on and people are in strife. I said it before. I wonder if it's illusion. But with some of the stuff that I'm going through, I feel like, yeah, there's that bit, but there's also that bit where I can feel, smell it, hear it, think it, know it's there, but it's not manifesting. For example, because that for me that's been my thing. Manifestation has been an issue for me a lot of my life. And as I've gotten older, I got to a point where I could manifest so well, and then suddenly it just felt like it was drying up and I didn't know what to do, how to fix it, whatever, right? Because I was obviously going through another layer of clearing, and that lasted a long time. There are people in the world that don't know how they'll buy their next meal. And I mean first world, I don't mean third world. Okay, there are people in the world that are fearful they're going to lose their home because they cannot pay the mortgage. There are people in the world right now, and I'm talking about awakened people. I'm not talking about people who don't understand what's going on. I'm talking about people that are in the wake on the awakening journey. There are people that are struggling to pay rent. They're like, okay, or they pay the rent and then they have nothing else. Now, friends, this is not meant to be like low down dirty shame. It's not meant to be morbid and negative. It's what realities people are feeling at the moment, right? Just like, oh, go to the store and try to buy your calamine lotion, Rose, and think, oh, I need $1 more, but I don't have that dollar more. So I'll have to wait until I get the dollar more. Now, that's very personal, what I just said, because just talking about the calamine lotion, but it brought some things forward. It feels like currently every day is a day to tune in to manifest your life. Are you feeling like that? And what its meaning is, we have to take the time to sit down and do the meditation, to sit down and tune into the guides. I'm afraid that's the answer. For those of us that are saying, I've done all the work and I don't think I have to keep doing this, I'm sorry, we have to keep doing it. That's the news because they're not punishing us. They're not punishing us. There is something happening here beyond the normal. There is something happening in this continuous meditation, tuning into the guides, speaking to your team of light, squad in spirit, whichever you refer to them as. There's something happening. They are becoming more and more visible in our lives, more and more vocal in our lives. And it's almost like this is the step that we need to take to create the realities we want. Now, that doesn't mean it gets comfortable. It means that unfortunately, this is still work we have to keep doing. There are a lot of people that are like, I'm fed up, I can't be bothered, or whatever. And I was one of those people. I am one of those people, not just was, but there are some days when I'm like, oh, well, what? What the heck's happening here? What do I do? I've just got through this thing. I've just done my tuning in. I just got some answers. I just got, oh, okay, right. Here's a gift of money, Rose. You can now pay your electricity bill or whatever. And then next time it comes due, okay, how am I going to do this again? This is very low. No, I won't say low because it's not. This is very deep. This is very personal. This is stuff that we don't want to talk about. How many of us are on this awakening journey and going through these things, but we don't want to talk about it? And the more we don't talk about it, the more we have a situation of we're going to prolong our suffering. Okay, friends, I'm sorry, I'm going to tell you that. And I'll tell you why. Because this is not about suffering. This is again about learning. This is again about saying, okay, I'm now feeling the pinch of things where it hurts most, where I'm like it's almost like I'm being bled out. I'm being squeezed dry. I'm being put through the ringer, the wash cycle. And it's like, is this illusion? Maybe. But is this testing? Maybe. But what are we being tested for? Why does it prolong? I'm not angry when I speak here today. I want to say I'm here to make a point. I heard a few things in the last few days about people's personal situations. And what it highlighted to me, because I was and am still going through a lot of this stuff, that until I did the work on myself, that it was not going to be how I envisioned it to be. Now, I listen to tarot readers, right? Because I like to listen to readings about Aries because, well, I'm Aries, sun sign Aries or moon sign Gemini, whatever. And, because I like to know, oh, what can I expect? I'm quite anxious to know, well, what's coming up for me? How does my week go? But let's face it, the tarot readers are doing that for a collective. It may be for some of us, and some things they say are so apt, they are so on point. But I've been hearing Aries expect money, expect a job offer, expect the, soulmate rocking up. You know who he is, right? I know who he is. He just hasn't rocked up yet. But the point I'm making about it is that listening to tarot is good because it gives you a good guideline and gives you a good idea. And when things have, it's almost like we don't want to be surprised. Okay. And we kind of need to have some idea of what we can expect in the week ahead or whatever. But I've got to say, my windfall of money and my amazing offer of work has been taking a long time to come because that kind of thing has been happening for Aries for a long time. Okay. But I come back to this. It is general. Therefore, because we don't have general birth charts, we have individual birth charts, right? We don't all have the same placements like this, the sun, the rising, and the moon signs. So each one of us is an individual. And so, if you ever want to live the blueprint of your life, how are you? What will you do? How will you live it? For me, I feel it still goes back to my higher self. It still goes back to the greater me, the me that knows the blueprint of this life that I have here in this time and space. The me that remembers, not the me that you see here that is mystified. So, what is my point about this? I feel like if we're struggling, I'm sorry, please don't be angry when I say this because I got really mad with people. So I get really mad with people who say, you have to do the work, Rose. There's more work to be done. I was like, what? So that's why I can imagine you might feel like that about what I'm about to say. I still feel like it is us that has to do the work. We still have to carry on with the meditation and we still have to go deeper. And yes, we have done a lot of it. And yes, we have committed. Yes, we've given up mainstream jobs or mainstream jobs have been cut off from us and we've had to accept that, me, we're talking about here. But the only thing that is going to take us through and help us see the other side of what this is continuous tuning into our guides, continuously tuning into our higher self. Now, I'm going to do a light language transmission, but before that, I want to give you an example of something. So I want to say, firstly, I don't have this down pat. I don't have this, I haven't hacked it. I'm still working on it, okay? But I'm speaking from my experience. So in 2021, I started a contract with the biggest dairy company here in New Zealand. I was offered a work contract. I was going to be doing training. I was training staff to use software, and in this case, a handheld hardware. So I had to understand the background of how that software worked on a screen, a desktop, and how it worked on a handheld device. Right. And so I started the contract, and I remember I started this contract. I worked in this contract for 4 days before my incident happened. Right. And I'm going to talk about the incident. And you're going to see why at the end I come back to this, okay, with what I started telling you. So when I started the contract, I had to get into town and I was going in on the ferry and I would be wearing my high heels, my stilettos, and all dressed up for work and clicking them down the pay, the street and getting to the office. And the one day I thought, oh, I feel like I have to walk too fast to make it on time because this contract stipulated that you had to be at the office at 8:30 in the morning. And generally my contracts, my projects that I work on are quite flexible with time, but this one they were keeping time on it, which is quite unusual. But I think the project manager was a little bit of a stickler for wanting everything. She wanted to know everything everybody was doing and she wanted them to be following the protocols of time. Anyway, I remember thinking on my way to work one day, on one of those days, perhaps Rose, you need to start wearing your sneakers on the ferry and walk to work with your sneakers. And then when you get to work, put your heels on, which I did. Like on the second or third day, I started doing it. That was great. Learning the work was a challenge because I am technologically challenged, but I train software, I train accounting software, all of that stuff, but it's just sometimes the technical terms are hard. And anytime you do a project like that, you have to think about all sides of it to train people to use the software, to train people, in this case, to use the hardware. Anyway, so I was on the project, learning the stuff, making copious amounts of notes, blah, 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 reviewing all of that. And then on the Friday, they said to me that as of the following week, I will have to start going on site with the users of this hardware. Now, the users of the hardware were the milkmen that delivered milk to all the different dairies, supermarkets, and cafes. And so I had to go with the milkman, sit in his truck at 6 a.m., go wherever to the depot, meet the guy, get on the truck, and go with him driving all over traffic to get to his destinations and do his deliveries. That was what I was going to do in the following week. That was the Friday. And I thought, yeah, okay, I'm up for that because, well, if that's what I have to do, because when you do teaching and training, you know that sometimes shadowing somebody when they physically are in action is in terms of their work is what you actually have to do to understand the dynamics of the role that they're doing so that you can understand you can understand firsthand how to deliver teaching to them or the curriculum to them. All right. So that was a Friday. And that was decided that on the following Tuesday, I'd be out with one of the milkmen or doing a milk run. And so on the Saturday morning, I was out walking Baxter, my dog, with one of my friends was with me. And that day, I was feeling really stressed out. I was really complaining to my friend about how stressed out the work was. I was complaining about everything that was not going my way. And then I stepped on what I thought was grass, but there was a rock under it. I twisted my ankle and I heard a click and I fractured it. At the time, I was very angry. I was very angry. I was angry with the world. I was angry with myself. I was angry with the rock. I was angry with the universe. I was like, OMG, what have you done to me? I am an agile, active person. And for this to happen, I finally got a contract where I could do what I love, because I do love teaching and training better than I love sitting in front of my computer doing accounting. Okay. And if you don't know this, I'm also a general accountant if you're watching for the first time. Anyway, so I thought, I'm no longer those things, but I used to be. But I thought, I got a good contract. I got the work that I love. And now you're taking me out of that. I have to tell you that the anger, the divide, the disconnect from my guides was kind of reinforced. I was feeling there was a disconnect and a divide, but that incident was worse than I'd ever thought. My response to it was not. I reacted, I didn't respond. However, why am I talking about this? This morning, I was walking Baxter because that was like 2021, the beginning of 2021, and now we're at the beginning of 2025, right? 4 years ago. And it was actually in January that all of this started to happen. I moved, I got the contract, and all of that, right? The ankle fracture happened, I think, on the 13th of February. Mercury retrograde, by the way. Anyway, so what is my point about this? Today I was walking Baxter, and as I was walking Baxter, I walked in this morning before 7 o'clock. We walked past the cafe, and and there were two food trucks there. One was a milk truck, milk run, doing the milk run, and the other one was a food company that was delivering food items. And I noticed the milk truck, and I saw the man with his trolley, the milkman with his trolley, and he was taking back the empty bottles and the crates. And I thought, oh wow, it dawned on me. My ankle fracture saved me because I saw how he was doing it. And he's obviously expert and he's experienced. He's obviously been doing it for a long time. And I thought, did you want to be climbing up and down those stairs of the truck, Rose, for like a week? What do you think that would have done to you? You were expected to do that, but what do you think that would have done to me? I didn't think it would do anything to me, by the way. I thought, well, they'll be fine. It was normal for me. But what my guides reminded me was that I was saved from a worse fate. I woke up today to the realization that perhaps there was something worse going to happen on that milk run. And the only way my guides could prevent me from actually going on that milk run for 1 week or whatever with the milkman was my ankle fracture. Because that was the only thing that would take me out of that contract. That was the only thing I could validly say I needed, that I could get out of that contract, because I was so desperately needing work. I was so in a desperate situation. I hadn't worked in my profession for like 8 months. It was 2020 prior to that. We were in lockdown and I did not have another training contract. I'd finished a training contract at the end of April of 2020 and nothing was coming through. And there this was, and it was like for me a godsend. And oh my gosh, it's all happening. And I was prepared to do anything to make sure that I did that work successfully. And they knew that. My guides knew that. I knew that. What I know today is I was saved from a worse fate. I don't know what that fate would have been. I don't know whatever. But it was just prompting to me today when I saw the milkman and I saw him with his trolleys, and I thought, wow, I would have had to do that milk run. I would have had to do it for 7 days. I wouldn't have been moving the trolleys. I don't imagine I would have been moving the trolleys, but I would have been having to get off the truck, go and observe what he does in all these cafes and supermarkets or whatever, go back on the truck with him. Every time he made a delivery, I would have had to get off the truck and do that. I don't know what the worst fate was, but my guides reminded me today they had to allow that to happen because it took me out of a situation that would have been detrimental for me had I carried on in it. Whatever you're going through today, friends, whatever it is, the learning is very deep. It is very intense right now. For some of us, it's money. For some of us, our stability, our security is being threatened. I've said it so many times this year, I can't count. And I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record. But it does prolong, and we do need to address it. For others, it's relationships. For others, family relationships are really being rocked. I've been telling you about my things about finances. Don't worry. Don't think family relationships are not being affected. They certainly are. What will you do? What will you do? Will you continue? Will you continue to say, guides, you're letting me down? Will you get stuck in the mode of guides, you're letting me down? Or will you stop and think, okay, I give in. Whatever it takes, I know that I'm the hero of this journey. And I am going to be the one to pull myself out of this. What I do and what is it I need to do? Meditation, tuning in, sitting down and breathing, closing your eyes and tuning into your guides and journaling. That is the key. That is the key. Even when you don't feel like it, what is it we're doing? Those of us without work, those of us without work that brings us solid income right now, and no matter all our attempts to find work to bring in regular income is not actually materializing to that, what else are you doing with your time? What can you do about your time? I'll tell you something about time, my time. It is only in the last 3 weeks that I've started to enjoy being without work and not feeling guilty. The only way I've got to that is because I have been taking time to do my tuning in and meditation with my guides. My guides, these are our Arcturian guides that I'm talking about, have been saying they want alone time with me. And I've been like, oh, yeah, okay, all right. All right, I'll do it today. And then I forget about it for 3 days. And then I think, oh, okay, why is it still not coming right? Because maybe I need to keep tuning in, because maybe I'll start to see the value. We are being built for a strong, valuable foundation right now. That's the journey. Take it, because it's important. Fall in love with your life again, beloveds. And the way to fall back in love with your life is to tune into your guidance, to do your meditation. I don't have it all, but I have to say, this big realization for me today tells me I didn't have it before because I was not in the space. I was in the space of angry, you let me down, you should never have let that happen to me. I stayed in that space for not 1 year, probably 2 or 3 years. Yeah, I've only stopped feeling angry about that incident and others since maybe the last 6 months. No, less than that. Actually, 6 months is too much. What are you going to do? What are you going to do when this is your time? This is your time to become you, the authentic you. And the clue is to go within. The clue is to do that deep dive with your guidance, to discover who you truly are, because you are not that job. You are not what other people say. Your guides do not want you to compromise yourself in terms of safety and security. And yes, it feels like we're compromised now, right? Because things are happening that's threatening our security, threatening our homes, the roof over our heads. But what is around you? What is around you? What is around you? Look and see what is around you. I had an interesting experience. I love, I have a sweet tooth, so I love lots of sweet stuff. And of course, I've got to cool it because it does affect my health. And, I have people with diabetes and things in my genealogy, and whatever, whether we believe that or not. Anyway, but I do have to make sure that I eat healthy stuff, well, that ensure my well-being. And I don't know what it is, but I didn't realize that sometimes you can get to a place where so caught up with life and what's not there that you don't really look at what's really there. Yesterday, I made this delicious um well, it's not a muesli bar, thing like a bar, snack bar. And it had maca nibs, maca and cacao powder, fruit I had dehydrated myself, some from plums from someone's garden, for example. And my daughter had given me a whole load of fruit like cherries and peaches and kiwi fruit. So I dehydrated the fruit myself. She'd given me a huge bag of almonds, and so I made some almond flour, but I also put some whole sliced almonds in there. And I combined it all with coconut oil. These were things that have been sitting in my cupboard. A few of those things have been sitting in my cupboard for quite a long time. And I keep thinking, I didn't have anything to make healthy to eat. Yet I have all of those things. I make lime preserve, and the lime preserve's got spices and stuff in it that, if you wanted to use it as a sweetener, you could use it because it's not hardcore sugar. And I thought, how did I not realize I had all of this? What is in your cupboard that you don't see? What is in your world that you can't see? What is the blessing you had that you did not see? How will you see? Because for whatever reason, we've gotten blind and deaf to the things that are blessings in our world, given whatever we are going through. This dark night of the soul, the suffering, it is so intense right now. We're feeling it so intensely. We are being squeezed, remember? So I'm going to encourage meditation, tuning in, and journaling. I'm going to encourage you to be in your hermit mode. Hermit mode, hermit mode. I'm encouraging you to take some time away from the phone, not just for the EMFs, but just so you can not have to talk to anybody. I'm encouraging you to listen to this still small voice within you because it is there. So, friends, let's do a light language to bring in that light code for ease and comfort, so that we can feel the connection, so that we can wake up faster to this realization. Okay, let's do clear. Let's clear now. Should have cleared at first, but okay. Sometimes we don't do things in order. That's what makes it different. That's what makes it unexpected. Friends, I would like us to breathe. Breathing in through the nose. We're going to take 3 breaths through the nose. Pause. Keep that breath suspended in the body. And then when you're ready, release through the mouth. Okay? Feet firmly planted on the ground. And I'm going to hold my spirit quartz whilst I do the breathing. That's my spirit quartz crystal there. Very fairy-like, very beautiful. Whatever's available to you. Right. Let's breathe. I'm going to mute myself so you don't hear my breathing, and let's just breathe in our own space, right? Feet firmly planted on the ground. Let's go. We would say to you, beloved ones, be easy and gentle with yourself, for we are easy and gentle with you. That is a channeling from your guides. wa wa we ai na wa tela ma tu or khnatia ma wa 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 ya wa 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 yeah wa wa ma tele ma to rama khaina tela wa here ma 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 Breathe again, friends. Karamaho. Breathing again. Karamaho. Breathing again. Karamaho. We have a plane flying over us. Uruna kita, makudumatia, makurunti malakatu fraha. Irmakutsumaramatskurmachai, tupfurnachai. Uranatia rokamacha, rucha chilabachto. Urmachai timakurucha massiveronhate. Urmachai timurko achrich gladguskurf aite. Now. Now. Why? Dechmach tsigurmach no idea. Hier macho. And today we are visited by an African chief. And Julius got so you have been given the light codes by this African chief, ancient peoples of South Africa. And so they're Hottentot people. There's another name, and I just can't remember. It's on my I don't and just look at Shaka and the Maskuramata. Feels like his eyes, the blue around his eyes is getting more intense. And when you see the blue around Shaka's eyes, seems to feel darker than usual. The blue is darker. Friends, I need to say, the answer is within you. The answer is not blowing in the wind. The answer is within you. Your actions will help you clear that which you feel overwhelmed by. I say this, and I do not say it lightly. I say this, and quite often if somebody says what I'm saying to you, I want to tell them to, you know what? I'll use the F word. Because haven't I done the work? Time to get the chip off my shoulder. Take it off. Yes, I've done the work. Yes, I've done the work. But who says I did all the work? I say I've done enough work to have a reward. They say we have more work because what we are making now, who we are becoming now, is based on a different platform. We are valuable. We are, the quest to authenticity requires this step. Value more those things. I was talking to Lynn and I said to Lynn, I don't know. I don't have the cravings for certain foods. Like, for example, when my budget got really tight, I had to buy exactly what I needed for food, for example, right? And then I forgot the taste of certain things because I didn't eat it for so long. I didn't eat it. And so even when I went shopping, I kind of forgot to look for that or to buy that. Or even now with the stuff going on with food, it doesn't taste like it used to taste. But is it possible that to become more crystalline in my body, that that's part of the reason why I don't crave certain things, why I've forgotten about it? Is this part of the crystalline journey? I'm not saying it is. Please don't quote me on that. I don't know what it is, but I do know the only thing that I'm going to start that's going to make me feel better and I'm going to start seeing my blessings is to go within, to be in hermit mode, and to clear this layer. I know it's tough. Oh gosh, I know it's tough. I've just been going through it for such a long time, friends. Such a long time. And it's not just been about money. It's been about health. It's been about relationships. It's feeling alone in a time when you need love and support from those that you love and not getting it, right? It's not easy. And it's people like, you know, the mother child relationship, for example. I leave that with you because I don't really want to go into the depths of it. But we are still here despite the fact that many of us are not having relationships with our parents anymore or our mother, for example, especially mothers. I don't know why. Because remember, even if you don't tell your mom all the things that's going on, you might just just need to hear a voice. You might just need to talk to her and talk about something mundane, but know that her voice is there because that's the calming voice. Even the mother-child bond has come under fire. So I know what I'm talking about, friends. I feel you. And so I want to say this, or I am saying this. Take care of yourself. Do not do anything that will be detrimental for you, as in like starve yourself or anything like that. I'm just saying that by the way, please take care of yourself. Please always operate from the highest good for your well-being, for your psyche, for yourself, for your safety, all of those things. But please go into your closet. You know, they say closet prayer. Go into your closet, take your hermit mode, and tune in. I promise there's something the guides are wanting to tell you. They are also, I've discovered recently, contracted to us in a way. And I say contracted because we're talking about soul contract, where some things they have to step back and let you do it. And it's become more and more evident. And the only way that you can navigate is to tune into them. Because whilst they might not give you the answer right away, the closer you get to them, the more you have connection with your team of light, with your higher self. That is what's going to get you through all of this. Yeah. All the actions you'll take, you will see the higher perspective of it. All the things that have happened, you will see the higher perspective of it. Yeah. Friends, I've said a lot. I hope. I hope it makes sense. Lots of love to you, all of you. So much love and light, so much blessings, so much joy. I wish it for you. So much prosperity, so much prosperity. May all your dreams and hope come true. May everything you hope for, may everything you need be fulfilled in terms of your basic needs. May you have the shelter you require. May you have the food you need. May you have the clothes you need. May you have the comforts you need. Always, always. But take this journey with your guides because what you're going to get out of it is going to be greater than what you already have. And no, it's very different. We are being stepped up, we are being stepped forward, and we are not going to be able to recognize who we are in a year from now. So much love. Thank you for watching. Thank you so much for your blessings and for your comments and for your support. I thank you. I really thank you. And I love you. Namaste.